So you're sitting there, it's 11 o'clock at night, you're scrolling on Zillow, and you find a house you like. You go down a little bit further and you find a number. Now, this number probably is a couple $1,000s, and it says estimated mortgage. And you're like, damn, that number is pretty close to the amount I'm paying in rent. I think it would make a lot of sense to buy this house. So you end up buying the house, and all of a sudden you're underwater, you can't pay for any of your bills, and you are completely house poor. Now, the number one thing that people mistake is that this number is gospel. It is absolutely not. What this number is telling you is how much the mortgage and interest should cost alone. But after owning a home, people like to find that this number is usually double or triple just to meet your bills every month. So here's why. First up, we've got PMI. So PMI is private mortgage insurance. And this is basically the bank saying that they don't like you and they don't trust you. PMI is pretty much just a punishment for not having 20% down. And it's not small. It's like $100, $200, or in some cases, it's even $300 a month. You're literally paying extra because you didn't already have the money. You're literally being charged a fee for being broke. So you can combat this by saving more than 20% for your down payment. But again, this is one of the things that people find stack up and cost a ton of money after they buy a house. Then you get homeowners insurance. So when you were renting, renter's insurance was like $15 a month. You barely even noticed it. But homeowners insurance is literally a whole new ballgame. So people are paying around $150 a month on the low end, up to $400 a month on the high end. And that's if you live like anywhere where there's natural disasters. So in the Midwest, there's tons of tornadoes. You got higher home insurance. You live close to the beach, you got higher home insurance. So there's not a lot of areas where you can avoid these high prices, but I've seen it all over the place. It's definitely a couple $100 for sure. Next, you've got HOA, the neighborhood mafia. They're charging people around $400 to $600 a month to tell you that your trash cans are ugly. And they'll send you letters all the time saying your grass is too long, your grass is too short. Whatever it is a violation. Of course it's a violation. So that's the best part. You're literally paying for the hall monitor, which nobody wants anyway. But if you're buying a home, you got to watch out for this. So HOA, we're talking $200 to $600 again. And so with the first three things we mentioned, we're already over $1,000 extra for buying a home. Literally, this is what is driving people to be broke. All right, so we've got more items on this list, but if you haven't subscribed already, please do. I've only got 30 subscribers, and I told my grandma I'd hit 31 subscribers by her birthday. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button for my poor grandma. You won't regret it. All right, we got to keep going on this list. This is a lot of fun breaking down these costs, but the next thing we see is utilities. So a lot of people get confused because they already pay utilities in an apartment, right? Wrong. So when you're in a house, you've got a lot more square footage. And especially if you buy an older house, you've got a really old AC unit, you've got an old heater, everything's old. So regardless, you're going to be paying a shit ton more in fees. So take it from me. In my area, I'm in an apartment and I pay about $60 a month for my electricity bill. So I've also have a friend who lives in a house literally right across the street, and she is paying close to $700 or $800 a month in utilities. So take it from me. You want to be on the cheap end of this, take the apartment every day. Every day, guys, come on. So utilities is a definite huge expense in home ownership. People overlook this. It is absolutely insane. Now, along with this isn't necessarily utilities, but again, another thing people don't realize they're paying for. When you live in a house, a lot of the time you have to pay the city to even own a garbage can, all right? These are the garbage cans you're putting on your curb that they come pick up once a week. You're paying for the garbage can, and then you're paying to have them pick it up. This makes sense, yes. But in a lot of cities, you also have to have a recycling can and a yard disposal can for like grass clippings and stuff. And altogether, you're going to be paying about $400 a month just to have people picking up your shit. So again, if you mash all these numbers together, on the low end, we're at about $1,000 extra per month. And on the high end, we're about $2,000 to $2,500 per month that you're paying. And these are expenses that you don't have in an apartment. Final thing I need to mention is time. Time is not money. I get that. But time is something you need to take into account. When you own a house, you have no time because you're clipping the grass, shoveling the snow off the driveway. You are fixing things constantly in your house. You lose your time. All right. So I'm going to tell you guys about my area a little bit. I live in Kansas City. The typical starter home, so again, this is like a really crappy small house. The typical starter home is about $400,000. Now, the typical apartment in my area, on the other hand, is around $1,000 a month in rent. So people will look at these houses, $400,000, and say, all right, a house, it costs me $2,000 a month to own. And they see that number on Zillow. So they're like, man, I can pay $2,000 a month and get a bank sum of it in equity, or I can lose $1,000 a month by living in an apartment. So let's say person number one goes ahead and buys that home. They're not being smart. They didn't watch this video, so they're not smart. They buy the home, and all of a sudden they're paying $4,000 every single month just to get a measly $500 in equity. They're paying $4,000. Me, on the other hand, I'm living in an apartment. My rent's $1,000, right? So instead of wasting $3,500 a month like person one, the homeowner, I only waste $1,000 a month and I can invest the rest. Rinse and repeat for a couple years and you will have enough to just buy a house straight up in cash. And then all you're really paying is property tax, HOA, utilities. I mean, you're still paying a lot of stuff, but you can buy a house in cash. So if you're young, specifically 20s, 30s, and you're living in an apartment, trust me on this, guys. Sit there, wait in the apartment, bank on the cheapish rent, put the rest of the money in investments, and then when you're rich and famous, then go buy the house. Otherwise, you are throwing away thousands of dollars per month, and you are losing out on opportunity in the stock market. All right, that was a lot of stuff, guys. But if you agree with any of this, go ahead and leave a comment. I'm curious to hear your thoughts and if you agree with any of my points. But with that being said, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.